It's Deborah Atkinson with Flipping 50, and I'm here to give you the answer to this question. So, which is better? Which burns more calories? And then I'm going to follow up with, is that the question that you should be asking? So this is Truman. He's the producer. He's waiting for a walk, so you can tell this is going to be a really short video. But I've gotten several questions just like this from our Facebook group, and I want to make sure that it's a message that gets out to you too. So the question is, how many calories does that burn, or which burns more calories? If you walk a mile, isn't that 100 calories? So there's lots of things flying around, and they have for the last 37 years, ever since I've been in the fitness industry. But here's the thing that I want you to consider. So when we're talking about walking a mile, traveling a mile, in general, it's true if you were going to jog that mile or you're going to walk that mile, because what we're doing is exchanging effort or intensity for time. So if you ran it, you would be, quote unquote, burning 100 calories because you're going to do that a lot faster. Say you don't even run that fast, but you do a 10-minute mile. There you have it. And if you walked it, potentially you'd be doing somewhere between 15 and 20-minute miles, depending on your speed. So you're at it longer, you're going to burn about the same calories, but that's actually only if you look at the time that you're exercising. So here's the biggest news. The high intensity interval training, when we're talking about, you're going to, of course, after a warm up, and you got to do a cool down, but you're going to accelerate for 30 seconds or a minute and go as hard as you can, and then you're going to slow down, get back to regular breathing, and I like to say back to nose breathing. So if you can close your mouth and breathe in just fine, you're recovered. You're ready to go again. But if you're still huffing and puffing, you're not quite recovered. What you're going to find is that as you do more intervals, you're just going to slow down and you get sluggish, and that's where injuries happen. So interval training is going hard, going easy, going hard, going easy. And if we said, all right, so I want to take you and have one person walk the mile, and I'm going to have you, same distance, same trek, I'm going to have you alternate a minute fast, a minute easy, a minute fast, a minute easy. This person's going to get finished a lot sooner, right? And this person is also going to burn more overall calories. The energy expenditure is far greater. Why? Not because doing the 1 mile was necessarily that greater, but what we've done is caused more of a deficit, a greater deficit throughout the body for oxygen use. And your body will spend much more time. If you did the interval training, it's going to spend hours after the exercise, and potentially not if it was only 15 or 20 minutes, but it's going to spend hours after the exercise if it was a 45-minute or an hour workout, repaying that debt to your tissues and your lungs and your circulatory system and your muscles, and that little micro damage that happens in muscles when you do interval training. That payback can last for hours, even up to a day or days. Say it was a marathon that you ran. That's not a suggestion, by the way. Over here, the recovery is going to be fairly quick, especially if you're used to it. You go walking for a mile every day, and we're definitely not making it a mile, but we walk every day. So when I take him for a walk, I don't need any recovery at all. In fact, there's a lot of smelling the roses or the fire hydrants along the way, right? So it doesn't require any payback, really, not because of the breath or the muscle tearing or micro tearing, anything. So you see the point that interval training will eventually burn more calories, maybe not in the moment that you're in, but for the hours after the exercise. And the more you rev that up several times during the week, at the end of the week and at the end of a month, and definitely at the end of a year, you have a different body to show for it. But here's the question. My question to you is does that burn the most calories? Is that the question that you should be asking? My answer to that is no. The question you might want to be asking, if you're really in need of weight loss, is, does that burn the most fat for me? But even deeper than that, because the answer to that would be, yes, high intensity intervals will burn much more fat than this low intensity exercise that really isn't very taxing on you at all. However, the question isn't, does that burn the most fat? It should be you personally asking, will that help me burn the most fat? Because if you are very upset, you're very stressed right now, maybe from all sources, not quite eating enough or eating poorly, you're not sleeping well, and you're exercising too much or too little. You're not in that Goldilocks sweet spot for you. And that's not the same as mine. It's not the same as your sister's or your best friends or your husband's or anybody else's. It's yours. And if that's true, stress or cortisol could actually be the roadblock. It's the gatekeeper to you burning the most calories. So we can't just look at it from what will burn calories the fastest and burn fat the fastest, because sometimes it's got to be, we've got to reduce the cortisol so that I can lose the weight. Because if you're doing more and more of this kind of pushing kind of exercise, thinking the more I do, the better results I will get, sometimes that backfires on you. So if you're thinking, I'm checking all the boxes, I'm doing all the things, I'm barely eating, and I'm exercising all the time, those are words I hate to hear, because the sad news is sometimes that is the reason you're not making any progress. You're actually causing more stress. And if your body has a lot of cortisol or an imbalance and too little when it should have more, what's happening is that roadblock is up, and it's not going to allow you to burn fat. It's actually going to encourage fat storage, because whenever your body perceives that you're under stress, it takes that as a threat and something that it has to protect you from. And traditionally, the way to protect is to put fat around, so we've got it for a rainy day. So there you have it, kind of a complex answer, and it's all about you. So if that was helpful, make sure you click subscribe. I'm gonna release some more videos about those kinds of New Year's questions and answers over the next week. And if you're looking for a program right now, both programs, our 12-week Stronger Strength Training program is open, and so is our cafe membership. And you may want to click down below into the description to read a little bit more about that. Happy New Year. I'll see you on the flip side.